What's good, everybody? It's Kenny Scoops with 3 Scoops, and welcome back to another episode of our new segment called The Inside Scoop. Now, if you guys didn't have a chance to check out our last video, definitely recommend watching that video before you watch this one, because in that video we went over the top 3 pros of cut and sew and manufacturing. In this video here, we're going to take a different turn. So we're going to go over the top 3 cons of cut and sew and manufacturing. So let's go ahead and get into con number 1, which is it can be risky. Oh my God, it can be so risky, right? There's just so many different variables of things that can go wrong depending on who you're working with, your experience level, miscommunication, if you don't know the fabrics, if you don't know the sizing, if you, it's just like a lot of different things that are up in the air, which I'm not trying to discourage people, but at the same time, like, you want to work with someone that has your best interests. And also, if you can find a mentor, we mentor people all the time, and we do wholesale orders for people all the time because we have so much experience with doing it. It does make it a lot less risky. We lost a ton of money so that we can provide you guys the right information, because we've kind of been through it all. So that's coming in at number 1. It can be risky. Number 2 is that the quantities and the cost can be high, and especially depends on who you're working with, right? So if you're dealing with like a lot of like the more high-end overseas manufacturers, you know, some of their quantities are like 100, which is low, 300, which is still kind of low. If you're trying to get custom jeans, they're usually coming in at like, you need to order a minimum of 1,000 or 5,000. Like, so it just really depends on what you're looking for. And then also it can be pretty costly as well, because, you know, let's say they're like, okay, this item costs, let's say it's $40 an item, because you want a lot to be done to that item, right? That may not include shipping. That may not include taxes. That may not include customs. So you want to make sure, you know, when you're finally getting ready to place that wholesale order, you're getting all of the expenses that are, you know, gonna pop up. Because I can tell you right now, we had an order just recently to where it was like, boom, this item's gonna cost you X amount of dollars. We're like, cool, we're ready for that. And then it was about to ship, and they were like, that's an extra 1,000. And then it shipped, and it got to the United States, and they were like, it needs to come into customs, so that's another $500. And I was like, yo, where? And that's not even terrible pricing, but it's just what can happen, and we didn't know. So, you know, it can be more costly per item, and then also just, you know, cost of doing business can be expensive as well. And then lastly, coming in on our list is communication and experience. A lot of the times you're going to be working with manufacturers overseas. You know, the language barrier could be a bit off. You know, you could say you may not be able to articulate your idea to the manufacturer so that they can understand it, or they may be trying to explain something to you and may not be able to articulate it to where you can understand it. So there's this gray area. Then you get your product in, you're like, yo, you know, this isn't what we wanted, and they're like, well, this is what you said. So you can always run into things like that in terms of the communication aspect of it. As we just kind of pointed out, pricing can be a thing if they don't give you all of the step-by-step of what you got to pay for. And then also experience as well. You know, you can go in very green. You can say, hey, you guys can you make hats? And they're going to say yes, because, you know, especially like the more inexperienced manufacturers, I guess, they're going to say, yeah, we can make hats. And you're like, all right, awesome. You guys made my shirts and you guys did a really good job. Well, I'll pay you to make my hats, because we've had this happen before. And then you get your hat in and you're like, yo, this is the most like Dollar Tree hat. Like, you made a hat, but come on, bro, this ain't no New Era. You know what I'm saying? Like, this ain't no 47. You know what I'm saying? You're like, this is garbage. What did you do? And now you're out of money because you don't spit the production, because you got these hats made and you're all excited for it, and you don't even want to sell it because you don't even want that type of product on your name. You know what I'm saying? So like, that's something you got to watch out too. We can go down the list with cons, right? We're not trying to scare you guys. We're just trying to prep you So as you go into like, taking the next step to getting items manufactured, you just have more questions to ask. You can reach out to people like ourselves, or if you have mentors already, or if you want to pay people like ourselves to create your products for you, you can do that as well. But that's all this is. It's just information to put it out there, because a lot of the times, like when we got started, we just went in blind. We were so excited to find somebody, finally be able to create what we actually wanted to create. And we're like moving on like the first 2-3 items, and then after that we hit hard hiccups, and it was just like a learning curve. And we still hit hiccups, as you guys just heard the story that we just went over. But like, that's why we're putting this information out here. It's very, very important for any industry to know the pros, the cons, the behind the scenes, and that's all we're trying to provide here. So as always, if you guys have any questions or have any more cons, please drop them below. And of course, stay safe out here. We're going to holler at you guys next time. Stay tuned for our next video. We're going to be going over, let's see, how we got started in manufacturing. So we're extremely excited to tell you that story. Because it's very important. It was a pivotal turn in our fashion career here. We learned a lot, and we definitely want to share that with you. So appreciate y'all time. Stay tuned for the next episode, and we'll see y'all then. Peace.